So good morning, everyone. Welcome on this July's Athena talk. Thank you very much for your participation. I know that it's challenging. The vacations are very close. Exams is an exam period. However, you are here, and we would like to thank you, and we would like more to thank also Daniela, Dr. Strokl, for her presentation. I will present, our speaker very, very fast. Daniela has working at the Carinthia University of Applied Science in Austria in the field of medical technology since 2015, mainly in the research area of eHealth, health informatics, and active and assisted living. She mainly works as a researcher and a lecturer for medical informatics and digitalization in the health and social sector at the faculties of engineering and IT and health and social sciences. She has completed a bachelor's and master's degree in medical informatics and a PhD in computer sciences with a strong focus on user interaction and user experience. Since 2016, she is a member of the Institute for Applied Research on Aging in the Department of Health and Assistive Technologies. Her research thematically focuses on the design, realization, evaluation of innovative and assistive HCIs in the field of preventive health for people of all ages, as well as applications in the field of digitalization, offensive in health and social care. Her research teaching experience sparked her interest in alternative and fun knowledge platform or game-based digital experiences for diverse users in the context of health. The goal is to exploit the joy of use factor and profitability, connect people and their knowledge about their own health to support a healthy lifestyle. The talks of today is gamification as a motivating factor for sustainable e-health promotion. And I will say, like reading the profile of Daniela, what a nice example of multidisciplinary of her studies, which is the future of the higher education. As you have seen from Horizon and also from education, the only way to progress now any field is the interaction with other disciplines. Actually, we are here in Porto and we have discussed this for formulating the Fab Labs in our universities, that multidisciplinarity is one of the necessary aspects. So Daniela, thank you again. The floor is yours and we are looking forward.
Thank you. Thank you also for the nice introduction and good morning from my side. So now you should be able to see my screen. And yeah, today I want to talk about, as Costa said, about the gamification aspect of sustainable e-health promotion. And when I was thinking about, okay, how to start this topic, and I wasn't sure if everyone is so familiar with these topics, I thought I would introduce or invite you to start with me in some kind of a journey. A journey why, yeah, I want to show you why I really like this topic and why I'm so into these e-health games, why I think this is a cool topic. And it is something, yeah, the one or another of you should think about in future to maybe use e-health games or gamification and such in the e-health promotion sector. So starting quite, yeah, a long way back, so late 90s in the early 2000s, this is where my journey to the gamification sector, a games sector, started. I was young, I was at school, and what was boring at that time, of course, was going to school, doing my homework, helping at home, and doing all this stuff that my parents liked to do when they were young. So I wasn't sure, okay, do I really want to be like my parents? I was starting, being some kind of revolutionary. So playing outside the whole day was not my thing, but it was the thing of my older brother. But my older brother has something I liked on him, and this was his very old floppy disk computer. I don't know if you're familiar with this one, but it was, yeah, at that time, 10 years old floppy disk computer. He got it way back to support him in school. He has the first informatics lessons in school, and he got it to writing his homework and stuff like that. But my older brother, he don't like that. It was an old computer. He wants to go outside, play football. That was so my chance to get to this old floppy disk computer and playing around with it. But I wasn't interested in this computer because I want to support my homework or writing emails or using Microsoft Office and stuff like that. I was interested because of one guy that gets my attention that time, and this was Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders, a very old floppy disk computer game. And you can see here some insights. It was a point and click game, very easy to use, just with the arrows on the keyboard, flash light colors, very bright, not that cool design, we would say nowadays, but at that time I was addicted. And I really know, okay, these whole online gamification stuff is something I really, really like. My parents don't like that I like it, but that's on the table. But yeah, so I know, okay, gaming is my thing. And so my game journey starts. And as time went by, some time after, I started healthcare IT. To be fair, I started an IT study, not because I was into programming or into databases and all that stuff. I really had no idea when I started with my study program, but I was interested in IT and digitalization and such, and I was a gamer. I know how to switch on my computer, I know how to switch on my games and to play. And yeah, so I become an IT healthcare student. Was it interesting? Of course, as normal, something were more. I was more interested in. Some things were, yeah, okay, but not that much of an interest for me. But back in that time, there was no real gamification aspects in healthcare IT. I know I wasn't studying game design or something like that, but yeah, there was just learning programming, data security issues, math, software engineering, all that basic stuff. And I got the idea back then that health needs to be very serious topic, serious for everyone to stay healthy. We have very sensitive data we have to deal with. So it is a very serious field. No gamification, no fun aspects at all. So in my early 20s, the only fun experience I had with health promotion was back in my kindergarten time, where this toothbrushing aunt with this big mouth, big teeth, and big toothbrush joined us and showed us how to brush our teeth. And this was something I was thinking, okay, is this, yeah, what is going on there? Health needs to be serious because I'm an adult. It just can be fun and gamified for children. There is something wrong, I guess. But okay, so I go on with my study, and yeah, as you may know, in 2007, the first iPhone came up. I started my study around 2010, and in the higher semesters, we started with this mobile application programming. So then there was not just the computer anymore. There were more things we can work with. Smartphones get better and faster, tablets, smartwatches, wearable sensors, all this whole topic of the IoT and more sophisticated web pages and stuff like that. And when this comes up, and there was just some kind of a drive that we want to be faster, better vision, better games and all that stuff, I say, okay, there could be a chance to bring these health and games together. Of course, there were also a lot of other people who saw this chance too, and this is amazing. And the first time I get this idea, okay, maybe health can be serious. Of course, this is serious. We all have to stay healthy and stuff like that. But it can also be fun also for adults or for teenagers or for everyone at least. And this was some kind of an, yeah, amazing new perspective for me, because I said, okay, now, yeah, there could be more than just tracking health data, more than just health information systems in the hospital and stuff like that. So every now and then this idea of gamification in health services or health promotion pops up. And with the time, I'm now on the other side of the classroom. I'm not a student anymore. I'm now the professor standing in front of my students, and I have to give them the idea of the health informatics. And guess what? I'm teaching my students. Of course, they need to learn programming. They have to learn about data security issues, a little bit of math, software engineering. You remember, they learned the same things that I did back then. But besides that, I want to give them in the higher semesters in the bachelor degree, a little bit of an overview what can be done with this health informatics study. Beside that they program hospital information systems, they can also do something which I call serious health games. So we combine this serious topic with health gamification. And the first time I had this idea that this could be something where I also get the motivation of the students back, that there is something more, that they can broaden their field and their knowledge. I started to get into that topic, and there's some very, very basic thinking about that. And this is the theory about the digital game-based learning. And as I don't know who of you is familiar with that topic, I will just jump out of my journey and give you a short overview what is the DGBL about. No rocket science. It is about using games in a very serious intentions, and to use games as a base for knowledge transfer, more or less. So gaming is some kind of the base to provide complex, different think abouts and all that stuff for students, for other users. And when we go back to the students' perspective of the higher education sector, then we are talking about educational games. That means that we design with pedagogical intentions, as we lecturers should have, but at the same time, we contain these pedagogical intentions with the central characteristics of games. So we go a little bit further and a little bit away from this presentation style lecture that we are used to have, or that we are doing on our own. And we try to find game types that support the knowledge transfer for our students. And the cool thing about this whole gamification and game aspect is that we have so much of potential and so many different game types we can really use. And you can think of any game you have ever played, and you can bring that into these educational context. For example, very simple puzzle games could be something to work with students or with other user groups. Simulations is a huge topic nowadays. Business simulations, simulations of active content for example, in the therapeutic studies or something like that. But also plan or role play gaming could be something that fits to the knowledge you want to transfer to your user group. Simple quizzes, online quiz games, or web quests where you start a journey through the whole internet and give the users the ability to search for content, to get information, combine it in your game, and to get further into the next level. But also we have nowadays virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. You can use also these aspects in a gamified way to support your learning and teaching. And of course, not just using computers, not just using keyboard, mouse, or glasses for any reality demonstration. You can also bring in movement. Students should stand up, they have to move around to get and catch something. So all this stuff you may know from Nintendo Switch or Wii gaming. So they have to move to achieve something, and then they get the information and then they learn. And to describe this DGBL in a nutshell, it is not about just throwing a game into your audience and say, okay, now let's play the game. It is about supporting a learning process. And of course, in higher education institute, it is about didactic standards, and you have to fulfill what is written in the curricula, that they really get the information they should get. But as I said, it is a supporting environment. Of course, we have to think further, not just about the content of these games. We have to think about also topics like user experience and digital accessibility. Of course, in my example, I have students, they learn about technology and informatics, but it doesn't mean that they don't have any barriers to work with games, to work with new applications and stuff like that. So I really have to know my user group to provide them games that they can really play and use, and not just creating new barriers, and then the knowledge transfer will not work at all. So we have to think about that, maybe provide information in different ways. But the most important factor of this digital game-based learning idea is that you emotionally involve users. It is not just about providing them slides, providing them papers and stuff like that. They get in a really emotionally involved status, and then it gets easier for them to catch the most important point of things they have to learn and know. So this was just a little theoretical background that you know what I am talking about, but I want to jump right into this health promotion topic what we are mostly dealing with. So for me, health promotion is more or less knowledge transfer. We have to empower people about their own health in a variety of different aspects and contexts. And of course, health promotion is nothing new. It is all around us. You get brochures, you get web pages, you get all that stuff to get this information. But I thought, why not update it? Why not use this gamified content to bring health promotion in this emotionally involved user state, so that people get really into that topic? And just that you understand what could be such a content of these health promotions, I provided 2 use cases. The first one is everywhere we read about climate change and what we will have to face in future. Huge topic, we all know. And but what does this have to do with our health? What impact will that have on my health? This is a question I was discussing with my students. And to be fair, most of them says, I'm not a climate researcher. I'm studying health informatics. I'm an informatics person. I'm not into that topic. But climate change has a huge impact on my health. And when we are talking about health informatics, we are the one who provides this application that should empower people to know that. So my students should know that they can empower others. And there are a lot of reports out there, but do they really get into that topic when I provide them papers and slide decks? Just for discussion. Another use case, which is where the target group are not students, but small children. Use case, a child has to go to the hospital for an MRI examination. It finds out from fans that it has to go into a big noisy tube, and it gets scared. Unfortunately, the parents do not know about it and cannot take away the child's fear. This is a very, very practical field. Young children get a sedation when they are too afraid to get an MRI examination because they cannot stand still or lie still for the whole time. So this is a huge impact for their health. And when parents do not know about MRI examination and how does it work and how does it look like, they cannot take away the fear of children. There are brochures provided from the hospitals, but to be fair, 4 or 5 young children, it gets quite hard to get their attention with a brochure to see some nice pictures or parents read through texts. So does this really help? I guess it can help, just as a first hint, but I guess there are other ways, or for some people, better ways to provide this information to empower these people to know their things or do not be afraid anymore. And these are topics I have addressed with my students. And now I want to give you a short introduction into different games we designed. Again, we are not game designers per se, but I guess what my students did are quite amazing jobs in various different ways. So staying at the last use case with the child and the MRI examination, 2 of my students in a transdisciplinary way, so 1 student from medical engineering and 1 student from multimedia engineering, worked together and created something called a digital walk. they also get into contact with the red-nosed clown doctors you may know, and local companies like Charlie Rocks that provided the technical infrastructure, and the regional hospital here in Klagenfurt. And their idea was that they want to provide this digital walk through the radiology department at the local hospital. And with funny videos, they scripted on their own, recorded on their own with the red-nosed clown doctors. It gets a little bit of a fun moment, and the children can, at home, go through and know already, okay, what is going on there at the local hospital. I can also show you that one here. I hope you can see still my screen. So the students went into the radiology department. They put the 360-degree cameras on, and you can walk through the whole department. Everywhere where you see these little bubbles, it is in German, to be fair, but I guess you get the idea. You get more information, and there are always these little video screens with audio and fun explanation what is going on there. And so the children can fast, slow, in their way they want to do, go through all these informations and also have a look into the examination room. So they can see, okay, what is going on there? What can I see there? Everything is explained for them in various ways. And so they know, okay, this is what it will look like when I have my MRI examination appointment. Could help them to not be afraid anymore, or not be that afraid anymore. Even that is a huge difference, and maybe we can avoid sedations for children. Another group of my students work with the same topic, but in a totally different way. These two students created a simple memory for very young children, and the children can go through this memory, play it in different levels, and afterwards they get a video walkthrough. So again, multimedia information, but not by clicking on their own through the radiology department, but to see a short video with a quite cute story about the little teddy bear Polly, who has to do an MRI examination and is afraid. So people or the young children really know, okay, I'm Polly in that way, and they can really interact and be emotionally involved with this little teddy bear. And I can also show you that one. So quite easy design, but for children made, different levels. As I said, we're going from 6 cards to 30 cards in a way, and then we start. Easy to use also for children that do not that aren't able to read or something, and then you can click through that. So hopefully I'm fast enough. Yes. And then there is the different video stories to go through. And also the students created this video together with the local hospital. So it is in a way the same experience as the children will have when they have their MRI examination appointment at the local hospital. And this simple memory game is also, or was evaluated, to be fair, just for 1 month. But we get some first impressions of people using it or parents using it, and you really say, okay, my child wasn't that afraid anymore. And this is a first huge impact for a very simple memory game. And we want to go further with this game, and maybe we can see that there is an impact to reduce the sedation rates for young children. Coming back to the first use case, maybe you remember the one with the climate change. This was also a topic for the other student group of mine, and they created, 3 students, a digital multi-user ladder game. So up to 4 players can play this ladder game, and maybe you know that one from before on pen and paper. You have to roll the dice, and then you come on each field. For example, when you go on, you roll a 1, then you come to this 1, and then you get a question. And when you answer the question right, you can go straight to the field 19. And when you go on these tubes, for example, on the 14, and you answer the question wrong, you will go back to the stage of field 4. So simple game design, or game idea behind that. People are more or less used to it, but digitalized. And the cool thing is this letter game, the students gave it to us, to our research group for climate and health. And we will further develop that game, also put that game into the English language. And we will provide that in, at the end of this year, also for other teachers, for other interests to really use it, to bring this idea of climate change and health relations into your teaching and learning. By now, just to show you that, sorry, just I can't see that. So, it is in German, but nevertheless, you get a first idea how this game works. This is how it looks like. For now, this is not responsive design. So when you are using it on a very small screen, it gets crashed, but we can see it that way. So you can here roll the dice. This is animated. Then, of course, you see the red player is on the go. And it went through, and then you get the questions. And the questions are related to the SDGs, so the Sustainable Development Goals. And you get the question, and for example, here it was not right, the answer. Then you can go back to the game, and you cannot jump up to field 19. And so you can play, as I said, up to 4 players until someone wins the game. Quite easy, quite cool to play, to get into the topic and to discuss, because it's a multiplayer game. This is not just this is not for young children. To be fair, the questions are sometimes quite intense, but for students or even for us teachers to get into that topic, this is a cool opportunity to first get into this information. But my student and I, we did also other topics in terms of health promotion. And for example, this one, it is called Food Rally. Nutrition and healthy food is a huge topic nowadays, also related to this climate topic, because water supply, healthy and full of vitamin food is not that common in some regions anymore. So we have to deal with that topic and to empower young people that they know, okay, how could I make myself healthy with food? And maybe there's something else than going to a fast food restaurant, but to stay at home and cook on their own a healthy meal for them, their friends, their families. So they 3 students developed this game where you can play through the whole world map, and in different regions you get local information, which food is provided there, local recipes like the köttbullar here for Finland and stuff like that. Also, like a web quest, you have to go through the internet, get information to really fulfill the and get the right answers to the questions. And when you get all questions right, you get different recipes that are also from the language in a way that teenagers, for example, your young children are interested to use them. What was quite nice in this project, they had to do it in a semester with me in the 5th semester of the bachelor degree. And for me, it was done. They get a good grade. And 3 to 4 months afterwards, they told me that they go on with the game. So it was not just providing something cool for others. They were motivated to develop games. They say, okay, this is a cool opportunity. This is something they really see there is a need. They talk to their friends, to their families. They say, this is cool, go on with it. And they did. And they were also at Health Eye Days, which is an event here in Austria, and with companies, and they get ideas from others to improve the game. And this is still an ongoing process. So gamification, the other way around. Developing games could be so such a motivating factor for students that they go on by themselves and they are attracted to that topic. Very cool to see that a small semester project can do something like that to students. So other projects to get an idea. For example, this one here up is the running dots, which is a reaction tracker for older people. So a totally different user group, but the reaction time for older people is decreasing. And sometimes in rehab, therapeutics, doctors, nurses, they really have to get an idea, okay, how good is the reaction time? Is it decreasing? Can we keep it up? Can we increase it? And this is a very simple follow the dots and click on the dot game with a statistical information in the background for the doctors to get an idea, okay, does the patient or the person in the rehabilitation works good, better than last time, less good than last time, and stuff like that. So also this could be some kind of a gamification aspect. And underneath there was an implementation of a web-based and iOS mobile application for diabetes mellitus quiz, also made for children in that way. So you can see with simple cute icons, simple questions, the children should get the information about diabetes mellitus, what does it have to do with their own nutrition, with their sugar eating and stuff like that. So also that was a topic. But I'm not just working with my students, I'm also working with colleagues, and we are working on different projects to get something for our lectures in different fields. And I will just give you a short intro into two of these projects that are currently going on. One is again with this topic of climate change and health. It's called Climate Health Career. So we took a already existing game called The Last Straw, which is simulation role play game through a whole lifetime. And the original one was just about social dimensions, so that people get an idea, okay, what does different social dimensions have to do with my lifetime, or how long could I live? And we get a okay from the developers of this game, and we develop in a way that we put the regional context of Carinthia in there and the climate change focus, because also climate change will have an impact on how old can we get, and also together with social dimension, how much money I have, how much does different factors influence my life. For now, we are developing this one on pen and paper, but when we have the whole game concept ready, we will also digitalize that one and also provide it for others to use that one. This one is also together with in a transdisciplinary with students from health management, from economics, from sustainable areas and stuff like that. So we are really working on a very transdisciplinary way in that one. And the last, or more or less the last one I want to show you is this digital game collection, which is now under evaluation with students from health management. And this is very simple, quiz, memory, reflection type different games together. And students should use it to get the information and to pass the exam afterwards. We have now the first round of evaluation done. The students quite like it. There are some optimizations we have to do, of course. We will do that. And in the fall semester, we will do another round of evaluation, and then we really have this whole game collections in a status that we really can use it on a standalone support learning environment for the health management students. So the question is gamification always about the big, well-designed games? As I said, I'm not a game designer, my students are not the game designers, and sometimes we have, new technologies, virtual reality, sometimes very simple information. But I want to show you at least one example that gamification doesn't mean you have to design big games. We had a research project some years ago, and it was about telemonitoring and monitoring of different vital parameters over a year of 100 people in our region. And after all this field trial was ended, we had a big conference, and my role in that game was the technical leader and the usage analysis afterwards. And I had to prepare a presentation to the audience, to also the people that participated in that project. And I was looking at all the different parameters we got, and who is the most user, who uses it, which function the most, and all that stuff. And we also tracked the different steps that the old people, in that case, above 65 to 85, how many steps did these people go? And this was my very last slide at that presentation. And to be fair, statistics are not that cool for someone not an academic or into that topic. And I just popped that up and say, okay, we're an endurance runner. The one that did the most steps in that year did almost 4 million steps, and it was a female in the region of Villach. And daily high score was around 45,000 steps a day, also a female from Villach. Just throw that on the screen. Then I ended my presentation, and immediately afterwards, the old ladies and guys came over and say, who is that person? I want to talk to that person. I want to know how to get that many steps a day. I want to know what he or she is doing, which roads they walk through, and all that stuff. So they were, with just a slide, just an information about things they did on their own, so fascinated, so emotionally caught, that they really want to know, who is that person? I want to beat that person. And so I was overwhelmed. I didn't know, okay, what is going on right now? But this is what gamification, or this little challenge, that wasn't even a challenge. I just made it to show them these results. And this caught these people, and they are really into doing their steps. And this project ended in 2019, and I'm still in contact with some of these participants, and they still, when we talk, or when I talk to them, they say, okay, I'm doing the steps. I'm now getting closer to the 45,000 steps a day. So they are still into that with just one slide. So there is always this point where you can catch people and emotionally involve them into a topic to promote their own health. Coming to an end, is this digital game-based learning for everyone? It depends, I guess. I'm fully into it, but not everyone is into gaming. And I guess when you are not into gaming on your own, it is quite hard to get this motivation and inspire people to play games. Of course, all the games, it doesn't matter if it is a high sophisticated one or a very simple one, they need to get a certain quality, valid information, and this is something you really have to make sure. Of course, when you're not able to develop these games on your own, is always some factor is the financing, because games cost, and you really have to make sure to use it, that it is some kind of a balance to the cost it has. And to be fair, gamification is now a hype, and it gets quite inflationary sometimes. So it doesn't really mean that every lecture, every knowledge you want to transfer to somebody needs to be gamified. That's not the case. But to use games every now and then where it really makes sense, really improves the quality of teaching and the knowledge transfer and health promotion. So with that, I want to thank everyone. And when you're interested in that topic, next year, early February, my students will present the new games. It's an online presentation, and I'm happy to share the link for everyone who is interested. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniela, for this very nice talk. If you can stop sharing the screen in order to provide. Definitely, we would like to use the mobility to come to Corinthia and, follow, this presentation online. And definitely, me as a teacher, I would like to get involved in this, to introduce your games in physics or in electronics. But let's provide the floor to the audience. If they have any question, please, ask the question right now. Otherwise, I have some. So I'm waiting. They say that you should wait 30 seconds. When you ask a question, you should wait 30 seconds. That looks very long, but you should wait. There is a question. Thank you very much. From Costas, the digital Costas, my digital twin. Is there a risk of distraction from the games and gradual waning of the learner's interest? Is on the chat, Daniela. So is there?
Yeah. Of course, there is. As I said, as a teacher, when I'm not interested in gaming, I cannot motivate others. It's the same way when students are not interested in gaming. This is also something you have to keep in mind. You will not catch everyone with this, and you will lose people with this topic that are not into it. So the thing I do is I always provide the information in different ways, in research project and in teaching. So I provided the very classical way. All the information are in the script, on a slide deck and stuff like that. But all the others can also use these gamified aspects. Just because multimodality in interaction should be provided everywhere. This is my opinion. And so also in the gamified learning.
Thank you very much, Costas, for the question, and Daniela for the answer. And I will provide the floor to my colleague, Ms. Hajea, Valeria.
I would like to warmly thank Daniela for this presentation. I was keeping notes all the time, and I would like also to share with us the link to see the next presentations and games that her student will develop. I'm really interested.
Great.
And I would like to ask, since your university has all this background and experience in serious game teaching, if you have incorporated in the curricula serious game as support tools in teaching?
In the curricula, they are not in there by now. It is just about the teachers if they want to use them. But I emphasize everyone to say, okay, we have something we developed on our own. So there is it. You can use it. If you need help, I'm happy to support my colleagues, because also this game master coaching could be something they are not into. So I'm really happy to be at their classes, help them and support them. But it is not, as far as I know, in the curricula by now. I hope it will get this someday.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valeria, for the question, and Daniela for the response. Any other question from the audience? So I would like to ask you, Daniela, the following. When we are making a presentation, for example, using PowerPoint, there are some rules of thumbs. How much, what kind of percentage you should use using, these animations and these transitions in order to have an interactive but not too tiring for the audience presentation. So there are some rules of thumb, let's say 80-20, like 20% of animation to be used within your presentation. So I would like to ask you, if I have a 45 minutes lecture, how much of gamification elements I can introduce in a percentage of my time into my lecture, if there is any answer on this question. So, yeah, please.
Yeah, it depends on the audience, to be fair. When you know, okay, your audience is into this visualization stuff, then of course you can go up to 20 minutes with videos and introduction and stuff like that. But I would rather keep it in presentations quite limited, because people get easily overwhelmed. So 45 minutes presentation, 10% of gamification aspects as a max. To get to know your audience, when you see, okay, they are into it, they understand the different dynamics behind it, of course you can ad hoc increase it if you have something in the backhand. But to be fair, all this presentation with this different animations, something flying in, then there is something rotating, then there is an audio, then there is a video, people, they get annoyed quite easily, and you will lose them immediately. After 10 minutes of the first 10 minutes should be quite an easy get into the topic, and not just throwing things in, pop, and something's going on, then there is a high audio noise and someone is screaming and all that stuff. I've seen all that, but then people just, oh my God, what is going on now? And they shut down. They say, okay, just get over it, and that's it, and they will not get any of the content you want to provide them. So simple going in, then using it where it really makes sense and is a benefit for them, not just because you know how to use PowerPoint and then get all the animations done.
Mm-hmm. So Daniel, I totally agree with this. So I'm keeping like 45 minutes lecture time and then something maximum 10 minutes of gamification. And, you know, my last part of my question is like gamification, of course, could be considered, you know, the games that your students can develop, but the other elements of gamification, I suspect that can be considered like Mentimeter or Kahoot. Mentimeter, you know, for questioning and debating, and Kahoot more for, let's say, more like a game, like the visual part of the game and the competence, the challenge.
Yeah. So I also give them the input that there is something, because sometimes they don't know that this is existing. And I also say you can use that when you do a presentation to get into contact with the audience, to get, okay, do you really, did the audience really get the point of your information? Do you have to put something onto the table and stuff like that? So this is something, of course, we use. And what I also use quite often, or at least 2-3 times in a semester, is something like challenge based. They get their exercise, and it's not just about the challenge to get a good grade, but to challenge each other's group. And this is something they get really motivated in, because this is something more than just a good grade. This is something like, I want to be better than the others, and this works quite fine.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I will come back to with few more, but you know, I will give the floor now. Valeria, do you have another question, or your hand is like?
Yes, please. I was just curious which game that you developed was considered the most successful, the most appealing to the users, and what was the characteristic that made it more appealing?
There are two. To be fair, this digital walk is quite appealing, so we get a huge of good feedback on that, because you can use it in quite different ways, and it is nowadays this virtual reality feeling, putting on glasses, looking around. This is something quite new, and people get really into it. And the other thing is these multi-user ladder game. I have a lot of colleagues just ask me, when is it ready to use it? We really need that, because it is a hot topic. This SDG information giving to the students is something we really have to do now. And so I'm a little bit under pressure to make it really ready for my colleagues to use it. But are the two for now that really gets the most attention.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Christian, the floor is yours. I would like to apologize because you are before Valeria, but I provide the floor to first. No,
absolutely, absolutely, no problem. So thank you, Dani, for the really good presentation. I think it's absolutely the correct step in the future. Let me ask a question. It's a maybe very complicated, because as I know very good that gamification could be a very good starting point for the elderly to get fit, to improve their health. But as we have seen that this is not only a problem of the elderly, but if we're looking at the young people, they are playing it at home. We all of our generation has played games in the past, also myself. I know that, but then I was interested in how this game is made, how to can change the game level, how to interact with the game, and then I started to program everything. So my question is how to get the young people out of their doors, because they are sitting in their own four walls playing games. They join their friends in online groups, they are chatting, they don't meet anymore. And it could be very good, because also young people are fighting against the metabolic syndrome, to stay at home, to eat too much, no movements, no sun, etc. So it could be very good to also, if we speak of gamification to improve your health, how these gamification aspects can get also the younger people healthy, and that the mindset also then becomes better. So that is the question, if maybe we can together think also in that direction, and maybe you have some answers to that.
Yeah, definitely. We had made some kind of that idea of getting people out of their walls with older people, but for younger people, I have a lot of ideas to do that. There's something we discussed also with other colleague of ours, to get information from the outside to use it in the online game. So they have to go outside, they have to talk to others outside, they have to do physical exercises in a group to get points in the online game to get to the next level there. And this is why I also like this idea of this Pokemon Go. Maybe, yeah, this is something that people remember, that you playing online, but you have to go outside. Of course, it works with GPS tracking, redirection and stuff like that, but you really have to go outside and do something. And then more or less you meet others, get into contact with others, get new friendships, and then you can go on the online gaming setting. And I really like this idea behind that. Of course, all these games are played at home, at their computers, at their smartphones, but yeah, people should go outside and they should physically exercise, and they should get into social interaction. And there's a huge market for that, and happy to go forward with that idea. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Christian. You know, I mean, about Christian, about these games, you know, every one of us has played a game. Daniela mentioned that, you know, her old brother had a computer with floppy disk, and this helps a lot, because my first computer was like with cassette, the Spectrum SX. So I felt very old. 27 old. But anyhow, I would like to thank you very much, Daniela. You provided us a very nice talk. Also, a lot of ideas how we can integrate the participation of Carinthia University of Applied Science in another projects that I think that we have on the pipeline. So regarding, for example, this kind of digital walk, I would like to, I'm going to send an email to the coordinators, which means now, I don't know, I mean, Denise is leaving Carinthia, am I right? So who is my contact person now?
So Denise is leaving for 1 year. Yes, Denise is leaving for 1 year. We don't know who will replace her yet. So for now, Denise is still here. If you want to be sure it arrived somewhere, contact me and her.
Yeah. Because I think that we have on pipeline a project with Marie Curie in order to promote science in the schools. And I think that digital work also can be applied in order to have a digital work through the research laboratories. So it's not only, so I'm going to include you, Daniela, this, you provide me good ideas. And you know, many other things that we discussed. I found out by by closing this session, Gerald Zebedin is the guy and the colleague that he's with us here in Porto. I had his card. So thank you very much for this very interesting and very nice talk, very inspiring, I will say. Sometimes I think that, you know, you mentioned that, you know, health promotion, if can provide, you know, the awareness, but you can see that, you know, this kind of communication channels are changing as with the way that the different generations, they learn. So multidisciplinary is something that, you know, should be very familiar to the teachers and to the students right now, that is the only way to promote science. And also digital tools. I mean, I can understand, Christian, there is a challenge on how much you should use each tool, but now digital communication is like, how do they interact? So we should adapt to the new generation as involving. Multidisciplinarity and digitalization, I think, is the key of success. Thank you very much again, Daniela. And we are going to meet again. So until the next time, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye. Bye.